Welcome back to Project 613. Today we learn all about theft. There are two mitzvot in this regard. The first is the prohibition against theft. The Torah says, Lo tignovu, do not steal. And this is a prohibition against monetary theft. We're talking specifically about a thief that comes in the middle of the night, that comes in secret when no one is watching, and tries to steal one's money, one's property, and so on. Now, an interesting thing, a misconception that many have, is that this is a prohibition that's mentioned in the Ten Commandments, because we have the words lo tignov in the Ten Commandments, do not steal. But in actual fact, the lo tignov, do not steal in the Ten Commandments is actually a reference to kidnapping, to the stealing of a person, rather than to the stealing of money. And we know this from the context because the Ten Commandments are all talking about capital crimes like murder, and so too the stealing that's talked about in the Ten Commandments is also one which would be a capital crime, and that is kidnapping. But today's mitzvah, we know from a different verse in the book of Leviticus that says, Lo tugnovu, do not steal, and we're talking about theft, which a person does in secret, which a person tries to do in hiding. There is a different type of stealing which a person can do in broad daylight. We're going to learn about that. That's a separate mitzvah called gezela, and we will learn about that in a number of days' time. But that is the first mitzvah that we learn today, the prohibition against theft. The second mitzvah that we learn today is how the court needs to rule and punish such a ganav, such a thief. How much does he have to repay? And some other laws that would be associated with a thief. So here are the basic parameters of this. If the ganav, if a thief steps forward on his own and admits his crime before being caught, he just has to pay back the principal amount of money that he stole. If he was caught, he needs to pay back double the amount. In certain instances, he has to pay back 4 or 5 times the amount. In a case where he either stole a sheep or he stole a cow and slaughtered it or sold it, then he would have to pay back 4 or 5 times the amount. So this is all included in the second mitzvah that we learned today on how the Bet Din needs to rule about such an individual. Including in this is also how a homeowner needs to behave if he catches a thief in the middle of the break-in, and the allowance for a homeowner to act in self-defense. If he feels that his life is being threatened by the thief, he is even allowed to kill the thief in self-defense, and he would not be held responsible because it was the thief who brought his own death upon himself. So all of these laws are included in the second mitzvah that we learned today, all about the thief. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.